Virginia is striking back immediately after the United States Supreme Court ruling, where a 6-3 decision, the right-wing Supreme Court justices saying that Texas can do the gerrymander to try to create more Republican seats in Texas. They want to create 5 Republican congressional seats there before the midterms. I do think that that may backfire on Texas, but you have Virginia responding right away. The Senate President pro tempore, Luis Lucas, she says, I've got something in store for Texas. Well, what does she have in store for Texas? She says, I will give a follow back to every person who I see tweet 10-1 tonight. By the way, back on November 2nd, 2025, she said 10-1. Remember when Republicans drew Virginia's congressional map so black people were packed into one district and said we should be grateful they gave our community this district? Now they can have one district and see how much they love it. Not mincing words there. And then we had the Virginia House Speaker of the House of Delegates there, Don Scott, last night, talking about how, it's possible you do a 10-1 map right there for the congressional delegation. The current delegation is 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans. We'll see. I mean, you look at Donald Trump and the MAGA approval in Virginia right now. The latest Morning Consult poll has Trump at negative 12% in Virginia, and that number just gets lower each one we give. And just so we can show you what the Supreme Court ruled and why I think there is this massive opening for Virginia to do a in-kind gerrymander, an offset, if you will, or perhaps an offset multiple, given that what MAGA wants to do in North Carolina and Indiana, kind of what we saw in Prop 50 in California, trying to offset what MAGA is doing. Just take a look right here. This is the Supreme Court direct language. With an eye on the upcoming 2026 midterm elections, several states have in recent months redrawn their congressional districts in ways that are predicted to favor the state's dominant political party. So the Supreme Court acknowledges that one of those states is Texas, that it's the purpose of it is to get Republicans elected. And here's what the Supreme Court says. Based on our preliminary evaluation of this case, Texas satisfies the criteria for interim relief. In other words, that the legislative map there is presumed to be accurate. Why? The Supreme Court says, first, the district court failed to honor the presumption of legislative good faith by construing ambiguous, direct, and circumstantial evidence against the legislature. Heck, the legislator in Texas is like, we're going to make some racist maps. Like, they literally said that. So I'm not really sure where the ambiguity is there, but the Supreme Court says if the legislature says they acted in good faith, why is there even a Supreme Court or courts in general to question them?